Underwood. I do know Underwood.
Nope.
Oh, we're in.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you for calling in. This is Josh Winquist, Communication Manager from OKIB. We will begin very shortly, but if you haven't already, please mute your screen just so that we can get organized. So as you're admitted, just make sure that you are muted.
Okay, I'll let you keep cooking, okay? Everybody out.
Morning,
Has the meeting
everybody.
started yet?
Good morning, everybody. Yes, we're about to begin the meeting. For those of you who are just arriving, my name is Josh Winquist. I'm the communications manager for the Okanagan Indian Band. We appreciate all of the interest that media has shown in this and the messaging that you've been able to share to this point for people who are expressing their concern and empathy for OKIB. We hope today is an opportunity for you to ask some questions and further amplify the message of just exactly what OKIB is going through. And yeah, it's obviously a very emotional time here. So joining us today will be representatives from OKIB, Chief Dan Wilson. From the BC Wildfire Service, we have Jeff Dunn. And from Emergency Management and Climate Readiness, we have Andrew Morrison. Each speaker will provide their update on their respective areas of responsibility before we move into the question period. Before we proceed, we've asked OKIB Councillor Alan Lewis to join us with an opening prayer.
Pascal, as Greece. My name is Alan Lewis, member of council. This morning I want to ask Cool Chutin, the creator, to look after us. We know we're in a state of emergency and our lands are in harm this morning and the last few days. I ask Cool Chutin to look after the people that have had to flee their homes, and we also ask Cool Chutin to make sure that they receive the proper services. Kumchutin. We also want to thank all the people that volunteered and make our people safe in this region. People that from outside communities work in the ESS centers, our people in the EOC centers as well. Thanks staff from the Okanagan Indian Band Council, as well as members from our community, as well as other communities that have stepped in to help ease our people living in our community and making that transition to a safe space for now. We know there's lots of challenges that are going to happen in the next upcoming weeks and even months and years, and we hope that everybody has patience as we are looking to do our best. We thank government agencies that have joined us to make this transition for our people and community members a safe, cultural safe place so that they can continue to live their lives. And finally, please look after the air, the land, the water, and help it recover after these fires. Please look after their leadership as they are working hard to look after our people as well. White Lightning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Creator.
Thank you, Councillor Allen. So our speaking, we'll start with Chief Dan Wilson, followed by Jeff Dunn from BC Wildfire Service, and then Andrew Morrison from Climate Action, Emergency Management, Climate Action, or Climate Readiness, rather. A few housekeeping items. Reporters who raised their hand will be called in order. Their hand was raised. Each reporter will have the opportunity to ask one question and one follow-up question before we move on to the next reporter. Please ensure that your name and media organization are clearly identified before asking your question. This will help us identify who is on the call and who's asking the question. If your question is directed to a specific speaker, please indicate which speaker that is. And if we're unable to answer your question today, we will take it away and we will provide an update and additional information as it becomes available. With that, I would like to invite Chief Dan Wilson to begin with some opening remarks. Chief Dan.
White House till halt, Incha skis as passes, Incha ilmikum cantel incomupalux. Hello, everyone. My name is Chief Dan Wilson from the Okanagan Indian Band at Head of the Lake at Incomupalux. For many people watching, this wildfire is measured in hectares and structural loss. For our community, it's measured in homes, family histories, and places people have spent all of their lives. That's why our focus has been and will continue to be on supporting our people while we begin the long work of recovery. Over the past several days, our community has experienced one of the most devastating events in our history. Families have been forced from their homes, many have lost everything they own, and many are still waiting to learn what remains of their homes and properties. We know those are increasingly difficult realities, and we know people are looking for answers. Our priority has been and continues to be protecting lives and supporting the people affected by this wildfire. At the same time, we're closely working with BC Wildfire Service, Emergency Management and Climate Readiness, BC Hydro, Emergency Support Services, and many other partners to assess the damage, restore critical infrastructure, and prepare for the safe return of our community when conditions allow. We are committed to providing information as quickly as we can, but it has to be accurate. Many areas remain unsafe to access, and some of the answers the people are waiting for can only be answered once emergency crews are able to safely complete their work. Our responsibility is to make decisions based on confirmed information and public safety. This wildfire has no doubt changed our community. There will be difficult days ahead, and recovery won't happen overnight. But our focus remains the same as it was on day one. Protect people, support families, and rebuild our community one step at a time. We'll continue working with our partners, and we'll continue being honest about what we know and what we don't know, and what comes next. White Limlim.
I'd now like to invite Jeff Dunn with the BC Wildfire Service to provide an operational update on the Bradley Creek wildfire.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Jeff Dunn. I'm the Fire Center Manager in Kamloops, and I've been working with my team here in Vernon to support the Bradley Creek wildfire over the last few days. As everybody's aware, this fire started on July 31st in the evening, and was significantly challenged into August 1st when a cold front came through the area and brought some aggressive winds and fanned the flames and increased fire activity across the land base, and it resulted in the fire moving to about 2,600 hectares in the first period. Since then, the fire hasn't grown immensely, but the main power was in that first day when we seen winds of up to 80 kilometers an hour, fanning the flames towards the community. Over the last few days, we've worked diligently with a number of fire departments, the local fire department, and a bunch of resources from around the province to really get control of the line and extinguish hotspots in and around the community. There has been significant impacts across the community itself, and we're working with BC Hydro to make the area safe for first responders to be able to action the remaining hotspots within the community. The fire has pushed itself into a kind of a northwest direction up into a high point, and is displaying some challenging fire behavior up high within the green vegetation. And the teams have been operating 24/7, doing structure protection in and around the community and building containment lines up along the high points to ensure that we're able to get around this and get control. As that cold front passed through, it did give us a bit of respite in temperatures, seeing the temperatures drop a little bit, and made it easier for our crews to get a bit closer to the fire front and start to work on containment. And the collaboration across the community, bringing in the multiple resources, working alongside local government and the experts in their fields, and bringing in multiple resources from out of province as well as all around the centre has been very beneficial for us to be able to get some control. As I said, there has been significant losses, and we are working with the agencies to make sure that the environment is safe for people to get in there and start to do those assessments. But we are seeing the temperature start to increase throughout the week, and so our main priority is to ensure that first responder safety is paramount, and that we are getting these control lines in place so that when we do see that weather increase, we're going to be able to hold those lines. And so that will result around kind of bringing in additional resources to make sure that we have everything locked in place, and are able to control any additional spread. And so we'll be working alongside the community as well to be recommending orders and alerts that kind of complements the weather that we're seeing over the next few days. Might leave it there and we can pick it up in questions and answers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff Dunn. I'll now transition to Andrew Morrison with emergency management and climate readiness to provide an update on emergency management and provincial response efforts. Andrew?
Thanks for that. As mentioned, Andrew Morrison, Director of Regional Response for the Ministry of Emergency Management and Climate Readiness, or EMCR. Our role has been coordination. It is coordination. We're supporting a number of communities across the province in some very challenging times. Primarily, we've been supporting the Okanagan Indian Band, staff and leadership, and the evacuees from Okanagan Indian Band that are dispersed throughout the Okanagan. Our role in coordination, as sort of Jeff mentioned, was sort of the evacuation orders and alerts, making sure that they're coordinated within the Okanagan Indian Band and plus the neighboring jurisdictions as well, such as the RDNO and the Central Okanagan Regional District as well. We support the provision of the emergency support services. That's the coordination of some of the accommodation. We are aware there's been some challenges in availability, but we have been working with the communities across the Okanagan to try and find as much available accommodation as we can. Part of that emergency support services is providing supports to evacuees in a way that supports them. We can offer some direct referrals and or e-transfers to support some their own decision making. I think I'll leave it there, Josh, and just work the questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. We will now move to the question and answer period. Thank you to all our speakers. As a reminder to reporters, please use the raise hand feature if you'd like to ask a question. We'll call on reporters in order hands were raised. Please begin by stating your name and media organization followed by your question. Each reporter will have one question and one follow-up before we move on to the next person. And up first, our first question comes from Carolyn Bargut, CBC. I apologize if I got your name wrong. Carolyn?
No,
go
it's
ahead.
okay. It's okay. Thank you. And thanks for taking my question. We're hearing like dozens, possibly even 100 structures have been destroyed. Can you speak to that at all?
And who would you're directing your question to?
Whoever can answer it.
Yeah, Chief Dan Wilson here. Yeah, we're still actively assessing the situation. We won't know for sure until safe to get people on the ground to physically eyeball the situation. I was on a helicopter tour with BC Wildfire Service yesterday, but we weren't able to get. We had to be at a high altitude because there was 4 helicopters working below us. So we were able to take some video and access the situation, but from that height, it's still not clear. But what I'm told, we may have lost up to 30 homes from band members, but a lot of our land is rented out to by the landholders, by the CP holders to non-native renters. So we have a lot of structures that are non-band members that have been lost. So I'm told that approximately 30 band members have lost their homes and approximately 200 non-band members have lost their homes. Jeff, do you have any more to add to that?
Yes, so as Chief Dan says, we did manage to get in the air above the community yesterday, and we were able to start to see some of the images of the devastation loss that there has been. Right now, the plan is to secure some of those hotspots, really working with the first responders to ensure that we have access. BC Hydro have been in there doing a lot of work, de-energizing the power lines. Fortis has been in making the gas system safe, and now, after we secure those lines along West Side Road there, we'll be able to start to bring in the right resources to start to do that significant work to really do the count, to understand what the actual losses are, to be able to then have the conversations with the property owners about what those losses are going to be. But again, as I said, the primary response has been in terms of securing the community against any future growth of the fire and any potential additional loss. So we've been really focusing in and around the community and dousing any hotspots. We're going to be doing some aerial scanning as well to see what kind of hotspots are still identified and have crews go in and challenge that. And then over the coming days, once we're happy with securing that kind of perimeter, we'll be able to make space for the right resources to go in and support looking at what recovery looks like.
Carolyn, do you have a follow-up question?
Yes, thank you. Was the destruction mainly from the Bradley Creek fire, and is the community now out of the woods?
Yeah, the situation is dynamic, but right now the majority of the damage was through the Bradley Creek wildfire as it grew in the first operational period there, as into August 1st, when we've seen those significant winds. Right now, it's been reported that we haven't had any additional losses since that first big push, but we are still worried about what the heating temperatures over the next few days may look like, and that's why crews are working around the clock right now to secure the kind of the northern flanks and make sure that we have control lines well secured ahead of any incoming weather.
Thank you. As a reminder to reporters, please put the name of your organization down next to your name so we can properly identify. Up next is Angela Jung from Global. Angela?
Thanks for taking my question. This is for you, Chief Wilson. Can you take me through what was running through your mind when you were doing this helicopter tour and looking down on the bandland? What was going through your mind as you were seeing that?
The devastation. You know, I was born and raised in this community all my life. I'll be 67 this November. Devastating. It looked like a war zone. Was hard to recognize my community from the air with all the structures and the forests gone and what really struck my mind was we just recently opened our cultural immersion school last September. And it's located at Kamasket Park where we have our powwow arbor. We also have our daycare down there. And to see how close the fire got to those structures. And I was told by Colleen Marchand, our EOC director, that the water bombers that we had 2 water bombers on the fire at that time and also 4 helicopters. The water bombers were able to douse the area around our school and powwow grounds, so they were able to save that. But that was crossing my mind because we're so proud of our cultural immersion school. We just opened it up, and it's not only our band members that go to that school. It's the local residents at Killiney and West Shores and the surrounding areas. So yeah, kind of in shock. It really hasn't sunk in yet. Everything still feels kind of surreal for me and for my community.
What was
Angela, do you
the,
have sorry, go ahead.
yes, my follow-up question is, again, for the chief, what was it like when you slowly had those conversations with the homeowners, with band members, slowly letting them know about the status of their homes?
Yes, the fire, as Jeff here stated, it started in the evening between 11 and 12 up on Blacktown Range, which is just above our Kamasket Park on the west side. So that's being actively investigated on how that started. Our fire chief and his staff, Dave Lawrence, were the first responders. And so anyways, that's under active investigation, so I really can't say too much about that. But the point that I really want to make to everyone is that the fire spread so fast that some of our members only had 5 minutes to evacuate. When those heavy winds came up and the fire, I think it was 80-kilometer plus winds that come up, it took off so fast that some of our members only had 5 minutes, if that, to get out. I told Louis Fred and his family, his daughter was just able to run into the house and grab the cat. And a number of our members weren't able to even grab, clothes or even ID. And so that really made it difficult when they showed up to the evacuation center in Vernon and without ID. So some of our people had to sleep in their cars that night. So I'm really proud of my council and my staff, especially my council. They were the ones. We have 10 council members, chief and 10 council members, and the council they took it upon themselves to go and to talk to the band members who lost their homes. And yeah. So, anyways, as I mentioned, it's surreal. It's just sinking in right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Up next is Lauren Asili. I'm not sure what organization you're from, if you could provide that information.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thanks for taking my question. I'm with.
Sorry, Lauren, you may be muted or your volume is down.
Can you hear me okay?
You're quite quiet right now.
Okay.
You can try to raise your question, and I can see if I can relay it to the members of the.
Okay. Is this better?
A little bit, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, my name's Lauren Achille. I'm with Vista Radio. My question is mainly directed at Jeff, but anyone can jump in. My first question is, what is the biggest uncertainty that crews are watching over the next 24 to 48 hours?
So Lauren's question was directed at any member, Andrew, Jeff, or Chief Dan, and she is asking what is the biggest challenge facing crews over the next 24 hours?
Yeah, so We have a lot of resources on this fire right now, but we also have a number of other fires around the province, and we really need to make sure that we can get good containment lines in along these current fires as we see those temperatures increase. We are expecting it to get warmer across the province, and we are expecting to see some winds into next week. And so our priority is getting as much containment as we can on the current fires, and really watching out to see if any new starts come. So as much as we have a number of firefighters engaged on active incidents, we also have a lot of resources ready around the province in an initial attack capacity to take on any new starts so that we can try catch them when they're small and make sure that we can extinguish them when weather is favorable to do so. So that will be a priority and a watch out for us at the moment.
Lauren, do you have a follow-up question?
I do. Just for general knowledge, even after the fire is under control, what challenges will remain?
Yeah, so because there was a number of structure losses within this fire, there's all the toxic waste that comes with any of these properties burning, and for responder health. That is something that we would be watching out for. It's also in and around, like, there's still a lot of work that goes on even after we put it into an under control piece. There's still that guard that needs to be cleaned up. There's still active fire that needs to be monitored, and so there's still a huge amount of resource that has to be actively involved in making sure that fire stays the way it is and is no longer a threat to the public. And then we really start to move into that recovery phase of how do we reintroduce people back into the community, and how do we recover the land so that we're in a meaningful space for moving forward.
Thank you.
If I can add to that, Josh, once the area is deemed safe, we will be working with the Okanagan Indian Band staff and leadership to help coordinate their potential reentry and any supports that they need. We'll also have resources that will support their road down the recovery.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Up next, we have Jennifer Maguire from Radio Canada. Jennifer?
Hello, thank you for taking my question. Back in 2021, evacuees had been out of their homes for over 30 days. Is it possible that this time will be similar to that?
Yes, Chief Dan Wilson here. Yeah, especially for the people who lost their homes. It could be a while. During the 2021 White Rock fire, I believe we lost 10 homes at that fire, and it took a while to have those homes rebuilt. So really not sure how long it's going to be. Our reserve was split in half when the fire crossed the road at Bradley Creek. So the south part of our reserve lost power and internet, and that included our emergency operations center that was set up at our community in 6 miles south of the fire. So I got to really give our colleague Marchand and her staff a lot of credit, because they were without power, without internet. Also, West Side Road was closed to the north, and then there was a fire that reoccurred at La Casa, just south of Fintry from us. So the road was closed there for a while. So our EOC center was trapped right in the middle of our community. They set up a generator and hooked up to Starlink satellite. But our self-service was really affected. So we were basically really operating kind of in the dark there for a brief moment of time. And it was so much chaos, because half of our reserve was, the southern half was evacuated and had to report to West Kelowna and West Bank First Nation. Really give a lot of credit for West Bank First Nations for stepping up. Also, the northern half of our reserve was evacuated. A lot of them went to the Cal Tire Place ESS Center in Vernon, and Round Lake Treatment Center towards going towards Falkland also had to be evacuated. And really like to thank Splatseen First Nation for putting up our members and the clients at the Round Lake Treatment Center. But it's going to take a while, and to just ask people to be patient. Limlip.
Jennifer, do you have a follow-up question?
I do. There were long lines over the weekend in evacuation reception centers. Many of the evacuees were questioning why the Red Cross wasn't there. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I
No, I
can
don't
jump in.
at this time.
Sorry, Chief
Go
Dan,
ahead,
I
Andrew.
can sort of speak to that. Yeah, when you evacuate a number or close to 3,000 people in a rapidly evolving situation, there are inevitably some lineups that happen. We did deploy a number of resources to support Kamloops, Kelowna, West Kelowna and Vernon in for them their efforts to provide the supports to the community. So we did involve Red Cross in certain aspects, as well as Samaritan's Purse on top of emergency support services volunteers from across the Thompson and Okanagan regions.
Thank you. Up next, we have Brendan Shakor from Black Press. Brendan, go ahead.
Thank you, Josh. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So just to point out, an evacuation order was actually expanded about 2 or 3 minutes ago for this fire. It's related to my question, actually. Given the Quilpatuck wildfire along West Side Road to the south of Bradley Creek, are there concerns that, this fire could block evacuation routes for people who are sort of stuck in between these fires? I'd just like to know about your operations, given that there's actually other wildfires in the area.
I can take that, Chief Dan. Yeah, the Ministry of Emergency Management and Climate Readiness is currently working with a number of local governments to address that. Recently worked with the Central Okanagan Regional District to address some concerns that were south of the Okanagan Indian Band and the Casa area. And we're currently working with the Regional District of North Okanagan to identify anyone who is sort of, as you put it, trapped behind evacuation orders, but we're trying to get them out so they can get the support services that they need.
Brendan, do you have a follow-up question?
I do. Yeah, do we actually have any specific confirmation about what actually caused the Bradley Creek fire? I take it was human caused. Do we have any further information on that?
No, it's an active investigation right now. BC Wildfire Service, RCMP, and other organizations are involved. So I can't relay any facts at this time. Everything is all speculation at this time. So that's all I can comment at this time.
Thank you.
Okay. Up next, we have Claudia Van Emmerich from Global. Claudia?
Hi, thank you so much. I think this question is best suited for Andrew. I know you mentioned the provinces obviously supporting the evacuees, but with hundreds of people out of their homes, and this being the peak tourism season, we're hearing and understand that people are sleeping in RVs and even in tents and parking lots. What specifically is being done to ensure these people have a place to go?
Thanks for that, Claudia. We're working with a lot of accommodation providers, hotels and others, to ensure that there's a number of supports that are available. Also working with the City of Kamloops, City of Vernon, West Bank First Nation and West Kelowna to ensure that there are some immediate supports available should there be other evacuations due to additional circumstances. But we're working closely with our communities and the accommodation providers to identify and provide accommodations for everyone who identifies the need. As of right now, we understand that there was accommodation that was available for folks. If it met whether it met their needs or not, that is their choice. But we did have accommodations and services available to all the evacuees throughout the hours that followed the evacuation.
Claudia, do you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to ask about the notification process for those people who have lost their homes, whether property owners or rentals. I imagine that process has begun. Are the majority of people who may have lost homes still in the dark, wondering if they have a home to come home to? And also, what does that process look like, and when might that process be complete?
Chief Dan, I can help out there if you like.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, so as Jeff Dunn mentioned earlier, the area needs to be safe, identified as safe for folks to actually re-enter, and that includes our responders. We're currently working with the Okanagan Indian Band's Emergency Operations Center, or EOC, to identify resources that can help them support their rapid damage assessment. Once those detailed rapid damage assessment information is available for both the Okanagan Indian Band staff and leadership, then I can imagine, Chief Dan, that there'll be a process for Okanagan Indian Band staff and leadership to help with the notifications to impacted those that lost their structure. So it's a bit early.
Yeah, the Okanagan Indian Band Chief and Council, we recognize that that data makes decisions. So once we get all the information, we'll be able to provide more answers. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm really proud of my council for talking directly with the people that have lost their homes. So it was quite a shock. Some of them are elders that lived in their homes for many, many years, generations, with their kids and grandkids, and lost a lot of memorabilia and photos and things like that. So anyways, that's it for me now.
We're seeing no additional hands up. Jennifer from Radio Canada, did you leave your hand up, or did you have one more question?
It's an old hand, thank you.
Okay. Seeing no further questions, I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us today. On behalf of the Okanagan Indian Band, thank you to our speakers, our emergency response partners, and the media for helping share this accurate information with the public. We will continue to provide updates through our official communication channel as new information becomes available. And just a thank you to the media who have attended today, and for your interest and commitment to sharing information to the public. Thank you, everyone, and please have a safe day.
Limla.